G'day everyone and welcome back to the Hardball Gets AFL show, driven by our friends at Mazda and the Mazda BT50 You Do Ute. Today on the show, it's the 2-minute warning wrapping up round 6 and round 7 is fast approaching, so let's get stuck in. It is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name's Chris Robinson, joined by Ryan Daniels and Xavier Ellis. And look, we've listened to the feedback. We've been struggling. The fans have been telling us to play the kids. We've got a kid debutant in the studio today. Ted Ellis is also in the studio, just quietly.
And did you notice the energy and the tone from Xavier Ellis has shifted significantly? I walked in. I've never heard him
fatherly vibe.
So gentle, and he's just like, "Hey, buddy, do you want to get your iPad?
Yeah,
right?
no.
Are you okay, mate?" And I was like,
and that was just him talking to you.
I told you why. And I told you why he's got headphones on, so I can still call you a cop.
So you can still do
and you can't hear a
what
thing.
you love to do.
Watch this. Hey, Ted. Oh, he's looking at me now. I won't swear, but
hey, Ted. No, nothing.
No. So he's learning about bees over there.
Some bee videos going on in the background.
Yeah, learning about bees and snakes and everything in between. So it's interesting stuff.
Has he bought tickets to the event yet?
What event?
The one that you've been spruiking non-stop on Instagram, the JN Sports Entertainment. There's only 30 tickets left online. If you follow Xav, you would have either bought a ticket by now or you're rolling your eyes at how many times he's plugged this event with Ben Cousins and John Worsfold at the Claremont Yacht Club, of course. Because if you're from Melbourne Grammar, you wouldn't host it at a regular spot. It's got to be at a yacht club.
No, well, let's...
How are the tickets going? You're hosting?
There's only 30 days.
I just sit there and we do 3 little chats. So, for example, the first one might be about Woosh's playing days, coaching career, and then current day football.
Yep.
Pretty simple stuff with Cuzzy as well. So, I mean, why wouldn't you get down to Claremont Yacht Club to see 2 of the greats in Western Australian football?
Are you going to polish your yacht while you're down there and just make sure it's in tip-top shape? Oh, actually, no, sorry, you've got your servants to do that.
Actually, funnily enough, I know I said I've got to be out of here, so let's not talk shit at the top. And now we're talking a lot of shit. But, who was the comedian Humphreys that died?
Barry Humphreys.
Barry Humphreys. So this morning on air, I did a bit of a thing. I thought Dame Edna was a person.
Yeah, you said this the other day. You thought they were you thought Dame Edna was just a regular old lady.
So then I did a bit.
Are you being serious?
No, dead set.
He really did.
But maybe I think because I find that comedy really like gives me tingles down my back. Then I just turn that shit off straight away and and valet Bobby Humphrey. Barry Humphreys.
He's given him a compliment for his incredible acting, so good that he thought that Dame Edna was a real lady, and then giving him a swipe by calling him Bobby.
No. But then I did some research and he was a Melbourne Grammar boy. I was like, how did I not know that?
That's what I was going to bring up with you, because he mentioned this the other day that he didn't know who Barry Humphreys and Dame Edna were the same human.
No idea.
Melbourne Grammar, one of your own.
Yeah.
Wow. In the Hall of Fame, right next to you.
No
doubt.
Just a little bit behind all the Prime Minister.
I've got some wouldn't be too far apart in the alphabet. So.
I've got some very revealing news to tell you about the 1993 movie Mrs. Doubtfire after the pod. I'll let you know. She wasn't actually... Oh, I'll tell you afterwards. It's too long.
Who was the main character in that?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, brown bread.
What? Yeah.
Dead? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was shot in San Francisco?
It was.
That's right, yeah.
Yep.
The weekend he died, I was in San Fran.
Also in drag.
And went to the house on the hill.
I went to the house on the hill too.
The weekend he died. Flowers and stuff everywhere.
Really?
There you go.
When we went to the house on the hill, the garage door was open and you could see inside the garage of the house where Mrs. Doubtfire was shot. There was just nothing inside there.
Yeah.
This is great content. Can we get into the footy?
All right, well, our order today...
Oh, yeah, I love this.
Because I'm just changing up the order just a little bit while Nick Rin's back for all the Nick Rin fans out there next Monday. So
his mum will be happy.
Fear not if you want to go back to the traditional order. But today, I thought we could go from...
Hold on, what's he going to do, Zave, next week? Ladder order.
And just rinse and repeat a message
alphabetical.
From above. Yeah.
Jeez, I'm worried he's going to bollock me now when he gets back. We're going from youngest side... From round 6 to older side.
Age or games?
On age.
Okay, I love this. So
purely youngest. I've got the order all laid out.
Because you learned something else too, Zave, as you're doing it.
Stats, man.
That's right. Yeah. So who do you think was the younger side of the entire weekend?
I assume it was Hawthorn?
Hawthorn is correct. Yeah. So that's me. So we'll roll into it. So the past 2 weeks for Hawthorn, I mean, Zave, you are a Hawthorn fan, so you can tell me if this is right or not. Is it just perfection in terms of what you're trying to do. You're showing that you're competitive. You're
Yep.
showing all the pieces are there. But then you're also losing.
I'm not
at the
sure
last
there was a
minute.
better result on the weekend.
It's
for any football
it's 2
club.
weeks in a row, right?
You're in Collingwood supporters happy coming over the top of Essendon. Hawthorn supporters, Flex, Newcomb, Nash was outstanding
Nash
in the
was
midfield.
terrific.
Who else did some bits and pieces that were nice? I'm sure.
Walker was better.
Yeah, but and they lose.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's
Perfect.
2 weeks in a row now where they've done it. They've kind of threatened to win. We're going in the right direction, and then we get the result that we actually want, which is potentially Harley Reid.
Harry Himmelberg and Darcy Fogarty. These are the things that in 10 years' time, when Harley Reid's won 2 Brownlows and Hawthorn's back on top of the ladder, we're going, geez, imagine if Fogarty hadn't kicked that goal and West Coast gets the number 1 pick. And
sliding doors.
But it changes everything.
I mean, I'm defending the tanking allegations. But what in the dickens was Sicily doing on the bench? I don't know if you saw that. He did address that today, which undoubtedly the shit he's come off with the last couple of minutes to go. And the thing is, you're not surprised. Like, you know who the 5 are that are going to come off. If you've either got an injury or you're a young kid or whatnot, not the captain of the footy club. Like, that's unusual.
What did he say?
He just said, I misread the situation. I was next to the bench. I hadn't been off, came off, and then couldn't get back on.
That doesn't seem like him, though. Wouldn't he be the guy who would be like, nah?
No, I think that's probably
I
him
think he read the situation perfectly.
But I think he's like, I don't ever think about coming off, and he just was there. He was like, oh shit, right.
It was too late.
Yeah,
someone called him.
Did it. No, he just went.
I don't buy that.
No, it was addressed this morning.
Second youngest
team of the weekend. Any guesses?
Adelaide?
Nope.
West Coast.
Nope.
Fremantle.
Nope.
North.
Nope.
Who?
Sydney Swans.
Get out.
Second youngest team at the weekend, which speaks to just how many guys they were winning. Who is Sydney? Is that you, Ronald?
Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Everyone is talking about West Coast's injury list, and rightly enough, there's a lot of people on that list. Sydney they're in dire straits. At the start of the game, you would have seen Callum Mills lining up on Tom Hawkins, and I thought, geez, they're in trouble. Callum Mills is a very good player. He's a good defender.
But you're also burning an asset.
Correct. You're putting one of your best, if not your best, ball winners and users on the best or the second best forward in the game.
If Force had his time again, I reckon he would have gone, let's put our best players midfield forward.
Yeah.
And I know hindsight's wonderful.
They just don't have anyone else.
No, but I mean, you start with Mills in the centre, Warner in the centre, Goulden in the centre, and just hope you win. And just hope it goes that way.
I get that,
there's
but
no
then,
other way.
like, literally no one else to put on him. Like, I looked up down the list and went, who could they have put on?
No, you just go bugger it. If it gets there, it gets there.
So Robbie Fox was on Jeremy Cameron, which is another massive mismatch as
Robbie
well.
Fox is a good player.
He is, but he's not, like, he can't stop Jeremy Cameron.
Oh, no, he's your fifth forward lockdown.
Yeah,
No, that's probably a bit harsh. Maybe third or fourth, and does a good job.
Yeah, I think, and also Peter Adams is not an AFL standard high-end ruck.
When's Hickey? Is Hickey next week?
He's played VFL on the weekend. I think he's going to play another game of VFL potentially.
So week after.
Then he should be back.
He might be fast-tracked.
Yeah, exactly. Adams has been getting beat up. He gets the ball, but he doesn't win the ruck.
I think that the level of ruckman you need to win a flag, and I know they only missed out last year just with Hickey, Sydney, I think Oscar McInerney is the lowest...
Yeah.
To have a useful enough to not go in and go, shit, we're already starting behind the 8 ball in the ruck.
Yeah.
So I reckon if
So what Geelong had, Stanley and
Blitzabs gets in there.
Yeah. That's probably lower than Oscar.
Lower than that. That's probably fair. The Blit has won a couple of best and fairest.
Yeah, very good player.
You know, Zave's making a really good point when he's got a golf ball in his hand while he's making the point.
I'm in a lot of pain in my back.
Oh, he's doing that thing.
See, I'm sitting on it.
The third youngest team.
One of you two might have to get it out for me.
might get Ted to do that. The third youngest team of the weekend was Fremantle. Is correct.
Hey?
Fremantle Dockers.
How are you going to spin that narrative, hater? They're the third youngest team.
That might surprise some of our listeners. That's probably
it does surprise me, but I agree.
Think.
They need to be smashed. So now, perfect man to have them.
I haven't smashed them ever in my life. But you are wearing a purple shirt. You Kool-Aid drinking.
I actually am.
Now,
more of a maroon for the Brisbane Lions.
So I said to my mate, who's a Fremantle nuffy, I said, mate, you got the keys to Freo. What would you do?
Yep.
And he said, straight away, dropping the captain. Luke Ryan's best season was in defence. As an undermanned, undersized defender, it was his best year. Cox to the second best. Get Hayden Young the football, and the captain's gone.
Really?
Yeah, that was his response straight away. And he goes, Luke Ryan kicks it. He's the third defender and kicks it just back to his mate all the time, sideways, laterally. They don't ever go forward. Mm-hmm. He's like, get rid of Pearce. Then all of a sudden, Luke Ryan's defending and also attacking, and it's a contest one-on-one, not just the third. Where would you go to fix Freo right now?
I tend to agree on the Luke Ryan thing. The numbers look good. He's getting a heap of the footy.
I think forget the numbers on
but a lot of the numbers are just side-to-side chip stuff, rubbish stuff. Hayden Young isn't getting enough of the ball, and he's their best ball user.
I think that's the point of just
putting I don't know if dropping Pearce is the answer, because I think Pearce is still a top 10 fullback.
I'm not saying drop Pearce either. He has had a shitload of goals.
Yeah, and there's also the captain factor as well. If you drop your captain,
that's a big statement to make.
That's a really big thing.
But I do think they need to,
especially when they're not 0 and 10.
Yeah, make Ryan more accountable. I definitely think that's a good idea, and switch it to getting Hayden Young the ball more often, because he hasn't had the footy, and even when he has had the footy, he doesn't look like he's trying to take the game on.
No, none of them do.
You know what Justin Longmuir keeps talking about? Getting stuck in the stoppage. And I kept hearing those words. He said it about 15 times last night. Said it a bunch this morning. So what he's referring to is, right, they're overcompensating. So they're trying to win that hard ball because they realised we weren't winning any of it. So now they put like 4 dudes in around the ball. And then
so
when the ball comes out,
forget it.
We saw it the other night. The Bulldogs were just laughing.
Well, the Bulldogs were cleaner. Way
they were
cleaner.
so cleaner.
And the effort wasn't there either. I don't know about them trying too hard.
They're just putting it in the wrong places. They need to be smarter about it, and they don't have anyone on the outside who's doing any damage at all.
I was going to bring a whiteboard in and show you the theory and principle behind switching a ball, but I didn't do it, but I will do it later.
Okay.
When you look up and the numbers are equal, regardless of the distance that there is an option to pass it, don't pass it there because you're going to get held up. So like, they switch it and go, he's by himself 40 metres. By the time it gets there, the players close it down and you're not moving, and it's so slow.
Right.
It is so slow. Unless you're outnumbered on that open side, don't switch the football.
Okay.
Don't.
Coach Ellis, stepping in.
No, I'm about to smash Triple M's windscreen if I have to watch it anymore. He's switching to people who can't play on.
Next youngest club is Adelaide, which is you.
That's me.
Again, Zave.
I want to project the future of a young kid, Rochelle.
Oh,
where do you think? I think Rochelle at the moment, watching the game on the weekend, unbelievable. A bit quiet in the second half.
Good player.
I reckon he's heading in a similar sort of brand to a Rosie.
Oh.
Where they forward, crafty. You go, I don't know where he's suited.
And then
goes into the midfield and goes bang. Did it on the weekend. Centre bounces were up. Where do you think? Am I too high on this kid?
No. He's very, very good. And I love Isaac Rankin coming in has unlocked him a little bit more because he was sort of stuck forward a bit.
Fantastic duo. Because you probably are going to Rankin first. So every club's got one small negator, essentially, that goes, he'll get the job done. Thankfully, we've got him.
We'll shut him down.
But now there's 2.
Yeah. And Rochelle can then spend a little bit more time pushing up. He's getting a lot of his footy at half forward or even in the middle. And
but
then
that's a hard role.
It is a hard role, but he's nailing it.
He's beautifully,
He's such a good player. He's so skillful. I love him. I'm all in on him too.
And you can see the lease of life. It's on the weekend. Laird and Dawson was still pretty good.
Yep.
Rory Sloane had 30 disposals. And you can just see when you're older end of the stick, having Rochelle, Rankin and those guys, and Tex Walker's a top 3 full forward in the competition.
Did they were playing Hawthorn. Did they escape with one?
Yeah, of course they did.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Playing Collingwood this week.
At Adelaide, I'm going the upset.
Really?
I'm buying everything that you've got at Adelaide. Give it to me.
Jesus, okay.
Give it to me.
You can make a case for it.
Yeah.
Pies will be off a 5-day break
Short
as well,
break.
which is going to hurt. And the travel. Okay. Next youngest is West Coast, the 5th youngest team of the weekend.
I've got the West Coast Eagles again. See how they've given it to all the young teams to me because I just have young energy about me.
Yeah, well, you brought Ted too. So.
Yeah, Ted's with me. Ted could get a game there at the moment. I'm a bit nervous about that orange juice over my laptop. Bailey Williams, tip my hat to him. Well done to him.
Best game in the AFL system for him. Yep.
What do we do with West Coast? Schofield played in the 2s. That is just not going to work. How far back do you think West Coast are? One, when kids are going to get drafted to the club, their development, you're not developing kids in that team, in the 2s. So forget about the 1s. The 2s
all the kids are in the 1s. That's the thing.
Well, they're not getting development. They're just getting whopped as well. 100 points in the 2s. Getting games doesn't mean you're getting the right development. And I think there's something to I don't know who I was talking about the other day, where I said, going to Melbourne, Van Rooyen. Go to Melbourne and you look at the other battling clubs and they're all playing their kids and you think, shit, I'm falling off the pace. No, you're in the right system, doing the right things at the right club. And then you see on Monday night, the explosion in the last quarter. I know it was a quiet first 3 quarters. I just worry about, the kids are getting the games, but you need them to be educated. You need the bodies to be right.
The problem they have is there's no alternative, right? They're handcuffed to playing them.
I'm not
simply out of personnel.
I'm not
crisis.
certain that this is fast tracking the future.
Yeah,
well, is what I would say.
I think if they had a choice, they probably wouldn't be doing it. This way,
of course,
right? They probably would be playing 18, 19 veterans, 2 or 3 kids, and that would be it. And you'd be earning your spot. But right now, they don't have to earn their spot. They're a necessity to be in the team.
You're standing there. Your legs are working.
And some of them will swim, and other ones will sink. I think
but the ones who sink might not have been the ones that would have sunk.
And they might get lost after this.
If they were just chiseling away in the state league.
It is a worry. So you know their waffle list, right? The salary cap for a waffle club is 250 grand, and for West Coast it's 25 grand. So they can't recruit any established players other than guys like Nelson and Waterman, who they essentially have to give a job to as well.
And my point is also that the rookies wouldn't be in the waffle team. Like they wouldn't be in it.
Well, we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it. Oh no! Oh no!
No, we're cutting. We're cutting.
No, they did their 2 minutes.
I know, I like it.
We got Kate behind the button. She's giving them the booby prize.
Good. No, that's all right. Yeah, good one.
They probably deserve that.
That was Kate's warning saying we're going too far over on some of these 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Next club is Carlton.
That's me. Okay, so I saw something the other day. I can't remember where it was. I'd love to give credit, but it was just a question. It was what is Carlton's? I think it was either brand or game plan.
Yeah,
and the first
it would have been brand.
Yeah, the first word that came to my mind was talent. Like they don't. To me, it's just we've got the best talent. We've got 5 A graders in Walsh, Curnow, Cripps, Mackay, and Wiedering, and that's going to be enough.
Those guys,
throw Sard and Doherty, and then you've got your B graders in Chera, Newman, Akers, Kennedy, Hewitt. There's probably a couple more. They're just trying to overwhelm with talent. Harry Mackay taking 14 marks and 17 disposals. If I'd said that to you before the game, you would have said, "Geez, they're going to win by 6 goals."
Correct.
They didn't get anywhere near that.
He needs to learn to kick drop punts.
Yeah, he does.
You can't have belly of the football, twice a week or whatever.
Yeah.
He takes a mark 40 out and you're like, he can't.
Not that far out.
This is going to be out your ass snap,
yep.
or it's going to be a belly and go sky high, and we're starting to see more and more bellies. I'd rather see him go back and try a drop punt. I know he's not confident. He flushed one early in the game from 50 that was a beautiful kick of the ball.
Yeah.
I think he's a better chance of kicking him drop punt
Should
from
be
distance.
Like a rule. I know every player's different, but if you're that far out, you should, I don't know. I just feel like they're just going out there going, we should have the more talent than anyone else and we should win. But that doesn't work.
No. They're playing the same game style as Freo, but with more talent.
Yeah.
Chipping backwards.
Yeah, a lot of chipping around.
Have you seen the heat map?
I did
Carlton?
see the heat map, yes.
Have you seen the game?
No.
Have a look at this heat map.
It's disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You don't see too many like that.
That's amazing.
Not one drop of heat in
Looks
the
like
forward.
an open watermelon.
Yeah, but not one drop of... Look how green their forward 50 is.
That's the unopened part of the watermelon.
Yeah.
They really
crazy.
miss Sard on Sunday as well because he's the one guy and Doherty's also not there.
That pushes.
Kind of slice and dice a little bit.
No, Doherty falls into it. Doherty falls into the chip sideways
stuff. The cheap stuff.
As much as anyone.
But he actually can though, whereas on the weekend it was McGovern, Wiedering, who else is back there? Nick Newman, and they're just all going back, forward,
even the new bloke Chincotta loved the little chip,
didn't he? The year Vossi won a flag in 2001, I think they had 1 or 2 players have over 20 touches in that grand final. Just over 20.
Yeah.
They had 6 over 30.
That's
I'd love him to
strange.
go in there and go, your game was shit, your game was shit, your game was shit, your game was shit, and your game was shit. I don't care about numbers.
Good for fantasy coaches though.
Yeah, I didn't have any of them.
Essendon
That's
is
why
the
we're so
next
angry.
club, the Bombers, which is me. There was so much good yesterday and then it all went really bad really quickly. The good Mason Redmond's game was great.
Yep.
Cole Langford's kind of nailed down.
Yeah, Langford was excellent.
The role of what
occasionally
he is.
you turn on the Essendon game and he's starting back.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing? Is there one of the forwards that actually looks
He
like...
always is dangerous up there. Always.
Yeah. Looks like he's found a niche, but we saw the dangers of trying to kill it off too early a little bit, particularly against Collingwood. I mean, they just couldn't get their hands on the footy.
I don't support anyone really. Like the favourite, of course, of Hawthorn or West Coast. Gee, you're lucky if you're a Collingwood supporter at the moment.
I know.
Like the ride of last year and those close wins that they all like the one. 28 points down yesterday, 3/4 time or whatever it was.
28,
and then the Army, just like the Magpie Army, they're so big and powerful and off their heads.
So back on Essendon, because we'll get to Collingwood.
Sorry.
Do we believe in Essendon still?
No, but they're going far better than I thought.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it.
I think that could be a finals team. I don't see it being much more than that.
You went in on this one, Robbo, but when Nick was here, when the 2-0 was Essendon, St Kilda, North, and we all had to pick a team that we thought most likely to make finals. Nick, of course, went North.
Yeah.
You had Essendon, which was the biggest shock, and I had St Kilda. I'm feeling quite confident.
You're just going to cash this in every week.
All you've got to do is make the 8 to not have to buy beer.
Yeah, I know. I'm hanging in.
Nick's buying beer for somebody. Maybe both
Probably
of us.
both of us.
At this rate.
But even Zach Merritt, you forgot. I heard him interviewed. It was a Triple M yesterday, pre-game.
Yeah.
And he said, he's out and it's disappointing, so your captain's gone. He said, but 2 metre Peter's probably, people would say, inside the club, our most influential
best and
player.
fairest winner last year.
And you sort of treat it with a bit of a grain of salt. Like, please, 2 metre Peter. I know you want the best and fairest.
Yeah, but structurally,
But as a structure, you go, gee, maybe he is the most important in terms of what he could provide.
They definitely look organised and they're in games.
They're good
you
to
take
watch.
that as a Bombers fan, even with that heartbreak.
They're hanging. Their next 3, just quietly. Geelong off a 5-day break, then at Port Adelaide, then at Brisbane. So we're going to find out about Essendon in the next 3.
Before we progress quickly too, the big 3 young kids that were so big in their first year. Perkins, Jones,
Nick
and Cox. Perkins is
there you go. Let's move on. We've got to move on. Unless you want to extend.
I've got the appointment.
Is GWS.
GWS is me. Sam Taylor out 12 weeks. Far out. That's the last thing they needed. They give you the hot tip.
They hadn't lost a one-on-one contest this year.
He's been their best player, I would say. There's been a couple of good ones, but he's been so good.
Yeah.
That's a massive loss. Adam Kennedy as well, ACL, bit more of a depth guy, but still, you know, you're losing players. Nick Haynes has been nice. Their next 5 are probably the hardest 5 you could ask to play.
Go on.
So they've got the Derby this week, or whatever they call it, the Battle of the Bridge. That's Sydney.
Well, I mean, they're getting a good time
to get Sydney.
Good time to get Sydney.
But you still like the Swans there.
Then you got the Dogs, then Collingwood, St Kilda and Geelong. Like that's a hard 5, and then you play Richmond after that. Maybe Richmond might have some of their guys back by that point.
Yeah.
But it's a tough fixture. I struggle to see them being anywhere near the finals. They're 2 and 4 already. They're 12th.
No, they're cast.
And losing Taylor now, that the ball's going to be coming in there, and they're not going to have him just stopping everything.
Does Himmelberg go back now?
Probably has to. Probably has to. Riccardi maybe comes back into that team and gives them another.
Do you know who's in
forward?
the 2 still in his 13th year? Lockie Keith.
Yeah.
He's still plugging around.
One of the great survivors.
If they want to keep Himmelberg forward, maybe he comes in. I don't know where Phil Davis is at. Maybe Phil Davis comes in for a little bit.
You almost forget about Phil Davis now.
You
just
do.
Perennially can't get a run at it.
I feel like it's a lost season now for the Giants with Taylor.
Oh, it's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead.
So,
and we're getting what we wanted out of the Giants. Cornelio, Kelly,
Tom Green.
Tom Green's gone another level. Toby Green's still Toby Green.
Whitfield's playing in the right role, just hasn't really done anything with it. I think we're seeing what we want to see. And maybe long term it'll be good.
Yeah, maybe.
St Kilda
lucky not to get the bullet this week.
Next.
The Giants.
St Kilda. Hey?
I said they were lucky not to get the bullet, the Giants, this week.
Okay. Yeah, no, they were lucky. We got 2 minutes out of them. Hey, Ross the Boss. All right, I've sort of been a bit... I just haven't put him in the same category as Clarko.
But now you are?
No, I'm not. But what an amazing turnaround of a footy club. I could not imagine what he's done to that joint. I think... Did you have him in the finals?
No. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Even this is the team that I'm going to lose a lot of money having a bet on against, because every week I'll fall into the trap, like Collingwood last year.
Yep.
I just punt against them all the time.
Yeah, and surely it's going to come to
lose and lose.
Yeah.
It's non-stop.
Yep.
Ross the Boss, what have you noticed the most? And is his best characteristic his ability to get that D to a C, C to a B? Great.
Yeah, we went through the list, I think, last week or the week before of players that are having career best seasons under Ross Lyon. It's like 15 dudes.
Yeah.
Right? And with all the injuries, what he can do is he can take a 5 and turn it into an 8 in terms of a player or a list. And that's what he's doing. He will get the absolute most. Now, does he burn you out? Yes.
Yeah.
In 2-3 years, are we going to see some negative impact of this? Probably. But in the short term, he makes St Kilda not just relevant, but very good.
Yeah. And it's also, as well as that individual stuff, it's also, as a club, it's like knowing what you're going to be. This is what we're going to be.
Yep.
We're going to suffocate these other clubs. We're going to be in every game. We're not going to win every game, but we're going to be in every game.
Yeah.
Because our defence is going to be that good.
You don't go to watch St Kilda games now thinking they could get flogged.
No.
They're either going to win or they're going to lose by 3 goals.
Yeah.
I usually get in the past 2 years, Jack Steele's in, Jack Steele's out. You go, that's
Game changer. Yep.
I wouldn't have even known he played on the weekend.
No,
I know
no.
he'd have a big game.
Zero impact.
And he hasn't had a big impact. I know he had his shoulder here and there. But you just think, you see, Gresham, who's been under the pump a little bit with his form, was good. And then you go, well, he was a 7 out of 10 probably. But they're all 7 out of 10s.
Yep.
Like the way they perform.
Yep.
So you don't need Jack Steele. Don't get me wrong, they've had the exceptional players. I think Wilkie's been great down back.
Yeah.
Brad Crouch has been great. Marshall in the ruck's been better than his opponent most weeks.
Yep.
But they're just
Mitch
not...
Mitch Owens.
No,
Mitch
Owens.
Whatever he's paying for Rising Star,
$8.50. I was looking at it today.
he's coming in real quick.
$2.20 Shees, $2.25 Ashcroft.
Yeah.
$8.50
Owens with an absolute bullet. Next club is Port Adelaide.
Port Adelaide. I've got Port Adelaide. Mitch Georgiades, Rhino, one of your boys. I spoke to his manager just before, just talking a bit of shit.
Flutters attack.
He's had 2 ACLs and a PCL medial over the weekend, so
hit them all in the same weekend.
he said he kicked the dog. I think you meant to say kick the cat. Didn't you?
Yeah. Flattening.
Yeah. Well, you're his number one. Getting the boat and row.
Well, yep.
And I was going to make a comment quickly. He's only young. This might be the best thing, as you can hear Ted's chips rattling around the background. This might be, it's as poor as it is, this might be a good little thing for him now.
You reckon?
Just re-sign, head down, the pressure's off a little bit about, gee whiz, am I going to West Coast for 800,000 or whatever the outrageous offers would have been. So it sucks so much. But if he's going to play for another 10 years, he's not going to remember this ACL. Everyone who plays for 12 or 13 years generally misses a year somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
It sucks. He's out of contract, likely to be moved, whatever.
Okay.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Can I ask you this? We all know that trades happen well in advance. They don't happen in trade period. If you think they happen in trade period, then I've got a bridge to sell you.
Sure.
There's a very good chance, and I'm not saying I know this, but you know I've been hot on it, that one of those WA clubs may have already said to him, mate, come to us. And maybe there's been even parts the other way saying, yeah, I'll go. If you had that verbal commitment...
Am I ringing sexy now?
No, I'm not saying this has already happened, but this does happen in situations. If you had committed to him, hypothetically, would you still follow through with the commitment? Let's say you're West Coast or Fremantle. Mm-hmm. Would you still give him that same contract? Would you still give him the same years, knowing now that he's done another ACL?
Has he done ACLs in the past?
Well, you just said he'd done 2 of them.
No.
2 ACLs.
No. Sorry, Sexy had 2 players do.
Right.
Two
so
ACL.
So he's done an ACL. Do you still? Can we extend on this one?
Yeah,
just this one.
Overtime.
What are you doing?
I think it'd be a reshaped contract if there was something there.
I was going to say, I don't think it changes the
performances.
fact that you still want them.
Yeah.
It might just change some numbers and lengths, right?
Yeah, it might be
or
something,
some caveats put in there of, you've got to play this many games.
To get to this.
Rather than before where it might have just been a clean slate. Hey, just come, here's the money.
So, for example,
Let's
Max
go.
Bailey, the ruckman at Hawthorn, premiership ruckman at Hawthorn, would have been a star. Like good height. I think he might have done 5 ACLs in the end. And that is the risk of signing someone off an ACL, is that it can just happen and happen and happen. We saw it with Alex Johnson at Morabito.
Yep.
That would be the only concern if you had a contract on the table, is if you do sign this bloke for 5 years, which you'd imagine to be something like that, that you go, well...
So you're still doing it?
Tweaking it, yeah.
You're still doing it?
If it was multiple, then you'd start to...
But I'm not doing it in the
But if
first
you're...
place.
I was going to say, if you're Mitch now... Even with those offers, if you're from Mitch's point of view, are you going, you know what, might be best for me to stay?
I'd rather be Port Adelaide's. Rosie, Butters.
I'm fascinated to see how that one plays out now.
Watch this space.
Fascinated.
Next youngest club was Melbourne, which is me. This is the Jacob Van Rooyen 2 minutes, guys. We know the story is about to get yanked.
Yeah, love it.
In the next rotation.
Love it.
It was this close to
Takes
not even happening.
Stays on.
Oh, amazing.
Better get subbed.
Unreal.
So good.
So...
I think Clarko uses a fine line term that I won't repeat on this podcast, but it was a very fine line. I'll tell you what he says later.
But did he just, in that 20-odd minutes, did he just unlock what Melbourne's forward structure needs to kind of look like? Because that's the biggest question mark with them still, isn't it?
I think it is. I mean, it looked better with Gawn back in the team anyway.
Exactly.
And then having him as your X-factor guy who can take a leap, take a mark. kick it pretty well. He's a pretty good set shot. I love him as an X-factor forward. I mean, he's not going to be your best guy. But if you're going to win finals, you win flags and win lots of games in a row, you need to have multiple options.
He can be that number 2 or number 3.
I think he should stay in that team.
Stays in for sure.
Well, Ben Brown's going to come back.
We've seen
at
enough
some
Tom
point.
McDonald for a while. I think we've seen enough. Even Ben Brown for a while.
Yeah, so is Ben Brown automatically in that best 22?
If you're playing Ben Brown, I don't know if you're playing Grundy as well, are you?
That's
like
the
Grundy, and as much as on the broadcast they were praising him, I thought he was dead quiet. I hardly saw him.
Yep.
Looked slow. Max Gawn looked like the Max Gawn.
It's Max's team.
Max was only off the ground for 5 minutes a quarter.
Yeah.
So he was as fit as a fiddle.
Yep.
I just don't know whether Grundy, if he's going to play forward, it's the whole 2 ruckman, 1 playing forward. Like I would rather. Who would you rather as a forward, Ben Brown, or would you rather Grundy?
Oh, Ben Brown is a better forward.
But and if Max is going to play 105 minutes of 125 minutes, do you need to play Grundy?
It's back to that mid-season trade period stuff. Imagine what you could get for Brodie Grundy.
So if you were coach, if you were Simon Goodwin, would you have the pills to say you don't fit Grundy?
Nah, you got to play him.
Okay.
You got to play him. You got to find a way to make it work.
Yeah,
Gold Coast Suns is next.
Is that me?
Which is
That's me.
Zave?
That's me. Stewie Jew. What has he done to his list? Unfortunately, bad luck. You've lost Whittler, ACL. You've lost King, ACL.
In 3 years in a row.
Now you've lost Tuke Miller probably to the end of the year. It's down as a high-end time off.
You're looking at 12 weeks minimum.
And
right?
probably season done, you'd say, pretty much. Stewie Jew, what does he possibly get marked against this year? Again, are we letting him off the hook? I'm a friend of his. I'm not going to slam him. I don't think he's been given any luck or resources or anything on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But what do? It's going to be another year they fizzle out.
Yeah, it feels very Groundhog Day-ish for the Suns. It feels like they're always around this mark where they're not the worst team.
But this is why I didn't get excited. I think I said after that round 3 win over Geelong, I was just like, I'm not going to get excited about Gold Coast wins in early April because we see them every year.
Yeah, I can't do it either. And I feel like it's more of the same with them every single time. I think there's reasons for it, and you pointed a few of them out. There's always a reason to point to.
But if they had like a Rochelle, who we spoke about already, playing in the forward line like he is at Adelaide at the moment, you go, oh, here we go. I still don't think they've got, with all the draft picks they've had.
Yeah, so what does that come down to? You talk about development before at West Coast, right? Why hasn't, I know Flanders has been injured the last few weeks, but why haven't we seen more from Sam Flanders? Why is Rao stagnated? I know he had a lot of injuries.
I like what Rao's doing though this year.
He's had a better year.
Yeah, he has captain written all over him.
Yeah, I think we thought he was going to be a bigger star.
No, absolutely. And I think, but I just don't think there's that. I don't know. You know, it's, for example, Sam Collins, who's done a wonderful job in full back, but he was still taken out of the VFL.
Yeah.
You know, the big Whittler wasn't drafted by the Suns. It's just interesting that you go, where are their number 1 draft picks and their number 2 draft picks and number 5 draft picks and I know I was number 3 and I was shit, so they don't all pan out. But there's meant to be the spark of joy running around on a wing somewhere.
You've spent some time on the Gold Coast. It's very relaxed up there.
Nah, I'm not buying that.
Nah, it feels like a big, giant, fun school camp. They're all young. They're getting coffees on the beach. I don't know. Maybe they just don't want it enough.
Oh, jeez, that's unfair.
Big call,
trying to
late.
protect Dewey.
Yeah, fair call.
You know, he can't tell them to want it.
The next club and the 6th oldest club of the weekend, which might surprise a lot of people, North Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
Which is me. And to that point, how many players under the age of 21 do you reckon they had running around on the weekend?
She's
is one.
I'm going to go with 6.
I'm going to go 5.
They had 3.
3?
Yeah.
And one of them turns 21 next month, which is Will Phillips. Paul Curtis is the
Flipper.
other one.
Oh.
So have they... And
They
I know,
must have injuries. Have they got injuries?
well, they have. I know some of these go
Wardlaw's
the other
been in
way.
the VFL, but-
and then obviously Goldstein doesn't play if Sherry's fit, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But have they sort of swung a little bit too far back towards, I'm talking Shields played, Daniel Howe played, Aaron Hall was back in these 32. Do they need these guys? I can understand you making a case for these guys if there's, 7 20-year-olds running around, 19-year-olds as the sort of guidance. But when you're the 6th oldest team, do you need to have these guys?
So let me ask you this.
I think it's a year off a clean out, a full clean out.
Let's say you're in a bad accident, right, and you rip your arm open, there's blood pissing out everywhere. What do you do?
Jeez, I'm glad Ted's got the headphones on back there. It's
what do you
very
do?
Well, you stop the bleeding, right? You got to put a big cotton towel on it, hold it in.
During Clarko cares about
initially,
bleeding.
because you got to sell a message, right, that we're not going to get flogged anymore. And the quickest way to do that is to put bigger, older, experienced bodies around. You can't go playing a bunch of 18-year-old kids. You're going to get flogged. You are. It's just the reality of it.
But you also might get Harley Reid if you do that.
Well, they might get him anyway.
Well,
they're still not very good.
Did you see the Kane Corns?
But they're not getting belted anymore by hundreds of points every single week.
Did you see the Kane Corns Corey McKernan dispute?
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, over Twitter, at the bottom of the Grange or whatever. I think Kane's comments were fair. They won't start favourites until
Yeah, I
Monday.
think that's true.
Yeah, I think it was just misreported.
Yeah. He's misunderstood, Kane.
Gee, the injury list isn't that deep.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like this is...
It's a conscious decision to go with this.
It's stemming the bleeding, which I'm not sure I 100% agree with.
No, there's a plan. There's a plan. Oh, there has to be something.
I thought Harley Reid was part of that plan.
Maybe the plane falls out of the sky and all the oldies are gone. Who knows?
She's goes to get on the... No, you get the next plane. We've got another plane
She's, you're driving.
Yeah,
you're driving.
Your boarding pass hasn't turned
But we're going to
up.
Perth. No, you're driving. Fifth oldest club at the weekend was Collingwood.
Oh, that's me. That surprises me.
That surprised me. I thought they were younger than that. You take out a Pendlebury and though. There's always a couple of outliers. Though,
yeah, true. Pendlebury side bottom.
Yeah.
They're premiership favourites, equal with Melbourne at $5. Geelong's $5.50. And deservedly so. They're 5-1. Adelaide on Sunday at Adelaide Oval.
Great game.
Nick Dacos, obviously fantastic. Right? Can't say enough about this kid. He's amazing. And he won in the game yesterday. Yeah. He's in the right spot at the right time twice.
Brad Scott summarised it well. At three-quarter time, he was ranked 15 or something best on ground. 15th, using all their data and stuff. Right. Finished the game clear at number one.
Yeah, really.
Like that last quarter.
It was go time. It was a big quarter, and they had to come back, and they had to win it, and they needed big moments, and he delivered.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Give me my man.
What I will say is it's the perfect situation for him.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So this is the guys he's got around him in that midfield, and even a bit on half back as well. Tommy Mitchell, Scott Pendlebury, Jordan De Goey, Steele side bottom, Josh Dacos.
Taylor Adams went on the day.
Crispy Taylor Adams. So you're surrounding him with big, experienced, smart footballers.
Who don't want to run and carry with
No,
it.
but they look for him. When they get it, they're like, where's that little whippet? And he's yelling for it because he loves it.
He cuts them off.
Oh. Smart is a really good word there. Because they are
exactly.
really, really
and they're looking after this kid in some ways and going, well, we know he's good, we know he's quick, we know he can use it, and they're not in their own heads going, oh no, I'm not giving it to that young whippersnapper. They're like, great, off you go, mate. It's the right mentality.
Would this be an outrageous comment? Jordan De Goey.
That was a quick 2 minutes.
Jordan De Goey, top 10 player in the comp.
Not outrageous.
No, it's not outrageous. I don't agree with it either. But he 15.
I think he's in my top 10.
I reckon mid-season we need to rank.
Yeah, top 10. Yeah.
No, 20. Let's get a 20.
Oh, okay, let's get 20. Fuck it.
The fourth oldest team from the weekend only has one win through the first 6 weeks, which is Richmond.
That's going to be me. They're 1 win, 4 losses, and a draw. Now, we talked about Sydney's injury list. And we've talked about West Coast's injury list. 13 players on Richmond's injury list.
Yeah.
13. Now, only 6 of those, in my opinion, are best 22. That's Nank, Tarrant, Rioli, who only just got on there, Graham, Gibcus, and Tommy Lynch.
Yeah.
Then there's a bunch of depth guys who you've probably never heard of.
Daniel Rioli?
No, that's Morris.
Oh, yeah,
he's in their team. I mean, when they name their team, in the role, they need someone who do. Anyway,
Nank's had a good
the one
year,
I want to talk about is Shai Bolton.
Oh, yeah.
Shea Bolton, because he's not shy. Although this year...
Also, Rioli played and just got in.
Yes, he's on the list now.
Sure.
So, Shea Bolton, 6 games, how many goals?
I'm going to go with something like, because I reckon I've had an interest on him every week, I'm going to say 2.
4.
No, it's 6. So, 1 goal a game, well down.
It's spending...
Well down. A lot of time in the middle.
Yeah, but I'm also, don't know, when he's not in the forward line, I think he's in the middle. He's not in the middle. You're like, where are you hiding?
So his disposals, tackles, inside 50s, all that stuff is up marginally.
Yeah.
It's not a significant jump, but the goals are way down. So he signed that contract last year to the end of 2028.
He had 100 shots. He had 100 shots at goal last year.
Yeah, well, he's had about 4 this year.
See, I would have thought bringing Taranto and Hopper into that engine room meant that those 2 guys are there, 80-odd% of the time.
Yeah, and it's Bolton's forward line.
And then the third guy, you've got a bit of Bolton, but you're rotating through. You're chucking Dusty in there when you need to.
Yeah.
Who else can go through there? You can chuck Baker through there. You can chuck Jaden Short through there if you want to.
Yeah. Morris Jr.
Yeah. But it seems like it's...
Are we? So we're disappointed a little bit in Bolton.
Oh, I am. Yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
his stage is there
Absolutely.
right now. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but as I said, there's only 6 of them, and you could argue that 3 of those aren't.
In a perfect world, they're 6-0, for example.
Yeah.
Bolton could easily go. We could be going. He's the best player in the competition.
Yeah.
Third oldest team from the weekend was Brisbane.
Oh, that's me too. They're 6th, 4-2. Freo at the Gabba on Saturday. I like doing the thing where we give them some,
Yeah.
Charlie is on fire.
17 goals in 2 weeks, is it?
First 3 games,
weeks.
how many goals? First 3 games of the year.
3.
6.
3 goals.
Is that right?
Then 17 in the last 3 weeks.
I only looked it up last night, so hence why I know.
He is the informed player of the competition in terms of forwards. Jeremy Cameron aside, probably.
No.
Included?
Included. Yeah, over the last 3 weeks, absolutely.
Magic.
Yeah.
What we've noticed, I think, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, because remember we were a bit worried. We were like, what's going on with Brisbane?
Yeah.
But they had a lot of new pieces, and they had some injuries and stuff going on. Guys who were slow starters have now started to come on. Charlie,
Lachie
big
Neale.
time.
Joe.
Yeah. Lachie Neale, bit quiet on the weekend, but he has a... Daniel Rich finally looked a bit active.
Back in the
McLuggage,
team.
bit of the footy on the weekend.
And he's still the one, too, that's got...
Some room to grow.
He's at a low B- as an A grade.
Jack Gunston, a couple of goals on the weekend. So they're just... And Dunkley was doing everything. Tagging at one point. Josh Kelly, which definitely worked. I'm not sure it's great for people who own him in fantasy prospects. But
Kelly's still at 42.
Gee, really? Jesus. I just missed that. But in general, most of their guys are now starting to get up and running.
Yeah, no, and it's starting to fit. The bits start to fall into place.
I think if you like Brisbane to win the flag, now's the time to jump on. They're 4th in line for favouritism, $7.50 I think they're paying.
And that's why I've looked into...
a big thumbs up here from...
That's why I had a good deep dive into Oscar McInerney, thinking, can he compete against...
He's very good on the weekend.
He was, but can he compete against everyone? And I came to the decision I think he can compete with everyone.
And from memory, he goes pretty well against Max. Doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's
does.
like one of the Max kryptonite guys.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember Max speaking about him after a game once, complimenting him, saying, he's out of sight, he's in Brisbane.
Yep.
He played that game where we all said, Luke Jackson had one out of the box, he rucked first ruck, maybe Max was out. And I went, Oscar McInerney had 12 clearances.
Yep.
Like 12 clearances.
Big
Not
Oscar.
3. Like he can play. He's bigger than you think, too.
Second oldest side is me, which is the Western Bulldogs from Friday night.
Really?
12 clearances is a lot.
See, I love
14
this age
clearances
thing.
is even more. And that's what Jack McRae racked up.
And
Is that right?
Not the best 4 players.
No,
on the
he
ground.
wasn't. And that's the thing. So Bont was unreal.
Yep.
Tim English is the All-Australian headline. Treloar was terrific. Lobb got all the headlines,
Bailey
obviously.
Williams kicked those 3
The
goals.
other Bailey
from
Williams
half-back.
was fantastic. Just a little sleeper on Jack McRae's 14 clearance game.
Wow.
Which tied the Bulldogs' record of Simon Garlick, who would have been an interested onlooker in his role at Fremantle as well. Just great to see him being played where he should be played, because he's been tossed around outside, inside, half forward. He's just been bevoed, basically.
I've never understood Bevo's...
He's too slow.
Is that what it is?
Not in an offensive way, to be a half forward.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a Charlie Cameron or someone goes up and goes back so quick, whereas McRae just slow. Like he needs to be around the footy.
Yeah, in the coalface, that's where he does his best work.
How good, and another player we didn't add, Libba unfortunately going to miss with concussion. But another one who was unbelievable on the weekend.
He's very good. They're looking pretty good, the Dogs.
Well, they are now.
Yeah, they've turned a little bit.
Jamara looked like bloody Wayne Carey in the first quarter.
Jamara's at a point where it's not happening yet, but you can see that there's going to be a year where it all comes together, and he's going to be unbelievable.
I just want a game where it comes together. He could kick 7 and
There'll
have 8 contested marks.
That game will come this year.
Yeah.
At some point, he'll kick 7, and we'll go, wow, how good's this bloke?
He was off the chain and off his head early.
Within 2 years, he'll be kicking 55, 60
he
a
probably
year.
could have had 4
I think.
early on the weekend too, like missed a couple of set shots.
They missed a lot
of set
early.
shots too early.
What's
That's when Bolt went down and said, I've had enough of this.
What's
Mark goal.
What's Jamara's ceiling?
It's hard to measure because times are changing.
He could be a top 3 forward in the game.
Yeah, I'd say, but
so.
it's hard to put a number on it. He could kick 60, but then who knows what 60 goals is in a couple of years.
True.
Good segue into our final team.
I would never have guessed it.
The oldest team by almost a year in terms of average age.
You know when you're at school or when you're fresh out, you go through a year of 18th, you go through a year of 21st, and you got a weekend event. Mate, they're having 30th every weekend, John. That's great.
What are you having now?
And kids' birthday parties as well.
I'm at 40th and 4th birthdays at the moment.
I've got a mate who goes, I'm at divorces at the moment. There's a lot of mates going through
Reckon Max Holmes would have had that one circled in the calendar after missing the GF last year. Just the rematch at 27.
Does he get a medal?
It's fantastic. Doesn't get a medal. Would have got something back though. The Jeremy Cameron, can he get to 100 debate?
Oh, I love it.
No.
So I've crunched some numbers.
He can.
Numbers, man.
So he's going at 4.5 a game right now. It's only through 6 games, small sample size, 4.5. From here, if he plays every game, there's the extra game, obviously. And then if Geelong play...
game, which we all knew about.
Yep, definitely knew about. And then if Geelong play 3 finals, they could play 4, but if they play 3 finals, let's just say it's a nice 20 games. If he plays all of them, he has to go at 3.65 from here.
But we only counted in the regular season, right?
No,
not now.
What, we're giving him extra 5 games?
So hang on. If you think if a player kicks his 100th goal in a grand final that people aren't storming the ground?
I'm just sitting there drinking their cup of tea going, oh, please.
No, I'm still going to love it, but there's
that would be an amazing
asterisk. It
Can
means
you
more if you do it in the home and away. It does.
Can you imagine if someone did it in the grand final? Has that ever happened?
They wouldn't get off the ground.
Has it ever happened?
Or would it just all be corporates?
I don't reckon it. Maybe in
realised?
like John Coleman or something in 1941.
That's definitely not happened in our lifetime.
I don't think you'll get to 100 for a reason and one reason only. He's too good to stay deep in the forward line. He gets bored and gets an outlet kick at half back, runs around. Like, he actually doesn't want to sit deep at full forward. Like, when they first got together, Hawk still took the number 1 defender. Hawk did a lot of the grunt work.
Yep.
Now Jez is like, mate, you're getting older. You can just chill back there.
I'll go for a
Cameron's
jog.
just
like, he might sniff it, I reckon. I'm prepared to say that he'll get 90. No one's got 90 since 08, since Buddy and Fev both did it. I'm prepared to say he'll go.
I think he's in the mix.
He's got the right forwards to do it.
Yeah.
And not a greedy forward line.
No, exactly. Hawk's going to help him. Tyson's going to help him. You're right.
Let's roll into a bit of Our Boys before we get out of here.
Our boys.
Oh, complete with a new sting.
How's that?
That was good, wasn't it?
I like that.
Our Boys.
What you gonna do?
Off you go, guys. Rhino, you want to go first?
Okay, well, I'm officially putting Errol on notice.
Mate, he has to go, mate.
Nah.
Throw some balls.
Love is deep. Right?
Not for me.
I'm committed to Errol. We are one, but I'm putting him on notice.
I'm like Rupert Murdoch, mate. I've got 5 or 6 marriages coming.
Big game coming up. He needs to perform in the Battle of the Bridge. I need to see not just a game. I need to see Errol as maybe the medalist. Let's be honest. I need to see a standout. Otherwise, he's going to find himself on the chopping block. And it's not because I don't love him. It's just tough love.
Well, so I can't remember who I had in last week.
You've sacked so many.
Yeah. Sicily's got to go.
Yeah.
I can't have you come to the bench with 2 minutes to go.
You can't be.
Hang on, he might have just won you Harley Reid.
Sicily's my man.
Say Harley Reid is your man.
Sicily's my man.
You know who I'm very close to is Mitchito.
Oh, yeah,
Mitch
yeah,
Owens.
absolutely.
I'm putting him on my reserve list this week.
I like it.
So I'm keeping Pendles as my guy, Owens.
Well, I'm keeping Dawson, so we can move on quickly from that. He's done nothing wrong.
Owens is my guy. He's coming with a bullet for that rising
he's in your
star.
backup chair?
He's my backup guy.
Love it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was just going to revert back to my 2 boys because...
Well, Tom didn't play.
No, he's back, though. I mean, I love a bit of thug. He's a thug, mate. I love it.
A preemptive Our Boy for this week.
I can't take him for a walk around the block and discipline him and then not give him an opportunity to respond.
It's true.
All right, let's get out of here. Rhino, thank you very much. Dave, thank you very much.
Guys.
And thanks to our listeners. And thanks also to Mazda and the Mazda BT50. You do ute. Enjoy the week. We'll chat to you next time.